Walking hand in hand on the ocean floor, down deep we wander. Louder we sing, no there is no cure in this together. I don't wanna tell you that it's not real. Nothing is a fairy tale. Everything about you is so unreal. It won't be pretty when it ends. Now how could I leave with your sweet love?
A little bit different of an intro today because all of us, are actually going over to my parents' house. They are currently in Savannah to celebrate their 41st wedding anniversary. And I'm watching the animals anyway, but we've decided that while they're gone, we're going to surprise them by getting some stuff done in their house. So the outside needs some freshening up. Bobby's gonna put in the new light pole. Hopefully it's easy. Get some cleaning done. I have a couple days that they're gone, so we're gonna take these days and just kind of surprise them. Happy wedding anniversary, Mom and Dad.
Hearts and letters carved into the shore.
So this is just day one. We wanted to start this day and really work on everything outside. Their gardens, every time we went over, I just noted needed some weeding and some freshening up. We live near the ocean, but my parents live even closer. If you guys know the Daytona area, they actually live on the island, so they are literally about a block from the ocean. So when it comes to sand, it is everywhere at their house. So starting outside, I'm just trying to redefine their gardens. And then Bobby, like I said, was going to be, originally he was planning on putting in the light pole, but their light pole didn't look that bad because Dad had re-spray painted it. So we ended up just putting in the outlet and stuff like that was supposed to be in there. And then he went around and edged the yard really well as me and the kids worked in the gardens. Well, me and Xander, you're not going to notice Freya and Bjorn as often because Bjorn was actually being very helpful by keeping Freya entertained while we were trying to get stuff done around the house. The other nice thing about this is, yes, our AC was still not fixed. So we were also taking advantage of Mom and Dad's house being a lot cooler.
Something about you always makes it harder. My lipstick on your white shirt collar.
Also, if you've been with my channel for a while, you may remember a couple years back we did a big backyard makeover at my parents' house when we came down for vacation. So their backyard is actually still pretty good. It could use some cleaning up, but we really just wanted to focus on this front area. They had this really nice border of rocks around their garden that had just gotten, you could barely see the rocks anymore. So the kids were helping me dig these out and then clean off the rocks. That way we could put them back in there and make it look really, really nice. Xander was such a champ this day. He was so helpful. Part of it is he wanted to use all the toys. So, well, I say toys. Tools. So the big rake, the blower, the hose. Anytime he could get his hands on some of the tools, he was all about it. Definitely a champ on this day, helping me out because he made this go so much quicker just by having extra hands. He is becoming such a responsible and good young man. It's crazy. He's going to be 11 this year, and it just blows my mind. And just seeing how willing he is to help and everything. I also love this because I was talking to him about how doing things like this for your parents or your grandparents is just a great way to show how much you appreciate them. And I do. I completely appreciate my parents. They have done so much for me and my siblings that doing stuff like this, I think, is just a great way to say thank you, especially if you may not have the money sometimes to get a big fancy anniversary gift. So just putting in some hard work and effort like this, I promise sometimes means way more than a gift card to go out to eat.
So much better. balconies and bathtubs, what you want. Why don't we just get a place together? Why don't we just get a place together?
Finding the actual edges of a lot of this stuff was very difficult just from overgrowth, but we did eventually find it all. Here you can see Freya decided to come out and help. She actually thought it was a lot of fun. I was having them separate the rocks. That way we could hose them off and clean them before putting them back into the garden. Like I said, just trying to get that nice edge back. And there you can see Bobby working on the light post, and Bjorn said the cement was hot. I told him to put shoes on, but he insisted that I just spray the cement with water, so that is what I did. He was not all about being out here in the sun, which none of the kids I made help. It was like, if you want to help, I let them know, like, it's T and Papa's. That's what they call my parents. My mom is T, and then my dad is Papa. It's their anniversary. We're just kind of doing this as a big surprise, so when they get home, they can just kind of relax, because you guys know how it is. You get home from vacation, and there's a million things to do. So this was just a nice way that they got back. Dad didn't need to worry about cutting the grass. Mom didn't need to worry about cleaning the house. Like, a big chunk of things that they were probably planning on doing, we tackled while they were gone. The hardest part, though, about this whole thing was like I said, it was a surprise. We did not tell my parents. But if you guys know what Marco Polo is, it's like a FaceTiming app. So we have a family chat on there. It has my mom, my dad, my siblings, all of us. And my parents were constantly Marco Poloing, like, what they were eating in Savannah, showing off the really cute B&B they were at, and all this stuff. And since I was a child, get beat red when I am working, especially outside. I don't have to be doing a ton of work. I just get super, super red in the face. Always have. I'm sure I always will. Xander does the same thing. So I could not jump on Marco Polo. I could have let them know we were at their house. That way the kids could be in the AC. But if they would have seen my face and how red it would have given the whole surprise away. So I feel like they probably thought I was ignoring all of their Marco Polos, and everyone else was saying how nice everything looked. But I couldn't. I could not talk, because they would know immediately just by how, like, sweaty and red my face was. Here you can see Xander helping Bobby where he was edging. This blower was one of his favorite things to use, so we let him do a lot of the different blowing and stuff. And the nice thing about Bobby edging these areas, we found, like I said, it was fairly overgrown, but my parents had some bare spots in the yard. So in a little bit, you'll actually see where I take that basically sod, and try transplanting it to some of these bare areas. That way, hopefully, it'll fill in those different areas of the yard.
We got this.
And then Xander, of course, wanting to use more of the tools, he just watered in all of that grassy area. That way, hopefully, it will take pretty well. Luckily, the St. Augustine grass pretty much takes anywhere. So between the irrigation system my parents have and then us watering it down, hopefully it just takes and spreads everywhere. But then Xander, well, I guess it is Bobby's like mini-me, went into this garden to weed it. There were so many weeds, and I just really wanted to get it all out and looking really, really nice, especially since my parents put all their plants in the front yard in these planters. So I pretty much knew everything that was growing in here had to come out. And this way, if they want, they can buy some new mulch and freshen it up, or even just spray it really well with some weed killers so that hopefully it doesn't come back.
You could be the one I trust. For the second chance, I say I'm nothing for us. I like it all with the cherry on top. Be one of the things I love. We don't have to move so fast, baby. I will show you how you can catch my vibe. And right away, got so much time looping in the blurry lights. Get in my way now, don't be shy.
I love this little porch setup that they have over here, so I wanted to make sure to just blow it off and get any of the weeds that are pulling through the bricks out, as well as I'm going to be power washing it really well. This won't last forever, like I said. The sand they got here is ridiculous, so this is a fix for a short amount of time. But I do think it made it look so much better, and I tried to like really blow everything away. Actually, I didn't even completely get on camera, but we even power washed the driveway to try and get as much of that like sand and stuff out of here. But you're gonna see it like collects absolutely everywhere in their front yard. Sand is just inevitable. I actually gave my parents one of our robot vacuums because you guys know I get sent different vacuums on a regular basis, and honestly there's no reason for me to keep all of them. So I often will replace the new one with the old ones and then give it to someone else in need. So my parents have one, and I feel like it is a necessity for them because even though they don't have kids anymore, well, one, they have my kids, so they're grandkids that treat their house like their own. I actually told my mom when she got home, I'm like, I'm sorry if you don't have any oranges. I think my kids ate all of them. But more than kids, just people coming in and out there with the sand, that them having a robot vacuum is like a must just to keep up with all of that. Plus they do have 2 cats. They have Thistle and Spooky, and then you'll often see in the video Fiona, their little dog, around as well. Xander really wanted to do this part as well with power washing down these windows and stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that he didn't like break the screens or something. I don't know. The idea of him using a power washer on the windows scared me a little bit, so I let him do it on the driveway, but not the windows. And then Bobby, the saga of cutting the grass. So my dad has an electric lawnmower, and this thing died twice while we were there. So he mowed, it died, he charged it, he cut again, and it died. And he ended up having to actually take our lawnmower over there to finish.
And took a shower because I was filthy. The boys took a shower, Freya took a shower. Bobby actually went back to my parents' house because my dad's lawnmower is battery operated and it kept dying. So he got like half the yard cut, but not all of it. So he took our lawnmower back over so that he could finish. This is just the end of day 1. We are all exhausted. That much work outside gets to be a lot. But we will be going back tomorrow for some more projects.
All right, so day 2. My mom has been wanting this TV mounted on the wall for a while. So I told Bobby, I'm like, well, I'm going to deep clean the kitchen. If you wouldn't mind doing this, which is a lot more than just mounting. He had to move the electrical and everything. That way wires weren't showing. So this ended up taking him all day, especially since their house had a lot of different additions added to it. So it's kind of hard to know what walls are what. This wall, we're pretty sure used to actually be an exterior wall. So it was a little bit more difficult for Bobby to get the wires like through the joists and everything. I don't know if joist is the right word. The studs. So normally you got like studs 16 inches apart. Well, there was the 16 inches apart, but then there was like cross beams also. I don't know. It was a little bit of a headache. So as he was doing that, I moved into the kitchen. That way I could give this a really thorough deep cleaning.
But you know it's not about our love fading. You know it's not about. Yeah, you know it's not about our love ending. You know it's not about. It's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us.
So the nice thing about cleaning my parents' house is I didn't have to bring almost anything. I did bring my multi-purpose cleaner and Pine Sol just because I didn't know if Mom would have that on hand. And you guys know I love cleaning with Pine Sol. But my mom watches my channel just like the rest of you and pretty much buys everything that I recommend when it comes to cleaning. So she already had the spray away stuff I love. She had pretty much, like I said, everything that I use. She pretty much had on hand. Also, yes, I am changing the rags. It's just all of my mom's microfiber rags are green. So I have rags for the different cleaners, and I swap them when they are dirty, but it's going to look like I'm using the same green rag on absolutely everything in this video, and I promise I am not. And here's my proof. You can see the pile of green on the counter.
I was wrong this time. When I think about it now, I know that I don't. I do not want to give you more of my life. I do not want to give you more of my life. You're just gonna waste it now. Not sure if I'll make it out. I do not want to give you more of my life. I'm all in with my mind. Will you ever call?
These windows definitely needed some TLC, but this window is actually, if you see that like cage right outside, that is where some of her quail are. So I've told you how my quail love dust baths. Hers are exactly the same. So this window gets a little bit more abuse from the quail being right out there, and then obviously they have their big bird feeder here as well. So this area and this window gets extra dirty over time from the dust kicking up and the different birds that come around. But I know they love it because they are always getting the coolest birds on this bird feeder. Their backyard is like this jungle oasis, and they just have all the fun little critters. But here you can see on the rag, definitely a dirty window.
Movies make it look so easy. 15 minutes then you're breezing. Movies make it look so easy. Whoa. Yeah, I thought we'd always shine.
I love showing you guys the different dirty rags and stuff because I feel like all the time when cleaning that it's great in some ways that the camera hides all the dirt. And don't get me wrong, my parents are pretty clean. Like, they're both older and no kids at home, stuff like that. So they don't really have the same, like, clutter mess per se. But things still get dirty. Things still get forgotten. That is normal for everyone. And I feel like this is a great way to show that even, like, people with no kids at home still have dirty spaces in their houses. So don't get down on yourself, especially if you are a mama, if you can't keep up with everything. Because right here, I'm showing you, and I say my parents are older. They're older, but they are completely able still. So they're not like granny in a wheelchair age. They are motorcycle riding, business owned, older. They're older than me. And there's still stuff in their house that gets neglected sometimes. So never get down on yourself. Like, you are trying your best, and that is all you can ask for. And even myself, like, I clean on a regular basis. I make YouTube videos to help people stay motivated and encouraged, and I forget things or neglect things. So never get down on yourself. If you feel like you don't have that, like, perfect home and you're not doing enough, trust me, you are doing enough. As long as you are keeping your kids happy, healthy, safe, and you're trying your best, that is all that matters. And when it comes to motivation, sometimes those negative thoughts of not being good enough is the worst deterrent of all. So get those negative thoughts out of your head. I heard something the other day about the things you think about yourself. Imagine saying it to your best friend or your mom or your sister. Like, these are most of the time the thoughts in our heads that we like put on ourselves, these over the top expectations, these downright mean like criticisms of ourselves we would never say to another human being. And I just want to remind you, like, if you are ever criticizing yourself, I want you to imagine saying that to your best friend or your mom or your sister. And if you are disgusted by the idea of saying that to someone else in your life, then remember, you don't deserve that either. You are doing amazing. And, oh yeah, this is me just having a little bit of fun. Smiley face. There was literally no need for that. I just thought it was cute. But yeah, you're doing your best. You're amazing. Like, no one can do what you do better than you do it. So don't be down on yourself. Keep going. Keep trying. Do your best. As long as you're making progress, you are doing a good job. The kids at this point were just having so much fun in Mom and Dad's pool. Mom and Dad actually have a pool heater, so their pool is always warmer than ours. I don't see a need to put a pool heater on our pool. Like, it does get warm enough on its own. But my mom is a baby, and I say that with all the love in the world. She will admit it herself that she is a baby. And if the pool is like less than, I don't know, she'd probably say 90, she doesn't want to get in it. So their pool is always very warm, and the kids were loving it. Like I said, their backyard is so cool. They have neighbors all around them, but if you were in their backyard, you would never know it. Like, you don't see neighbors, you barely hear them. It is like the perfect backyard of like suburban living. So I still have not gotten this spray away stainless steel cleaner. It is so good. My mom has it, and I don't know. I have other stainless cleaners, so I haven't picked up the spray away one. But I will say, after using it at her house, I definitely need to get the spray away stainless cleaner. because it is just as good as their window cleaner. It went on really well. It cleaned everything really nicely. I definitely really liked the way everything worked with that. They actually recently updated their kitchen a couple years ago, so like the floors and the counters, they refaced the cabinets, are all fairly new. And I have to say, the cabinet color they went with is so perfect. It's that light and bright. Like I said, they are about a block from the beach, so they definitely have a more coastal beachy vibe in their house, and it works. It's never going to go out of style. When you can literally walk to the beach, I feel like having a coastal themed home is always going to be in style. But this color hides so much dirt. Like when I got here, I'm like, man, I'm really not going to have that much stuff to clean. And then I like actually started cleaning and giving that like closer look at things, and these cabinets definitely needed a good wipe down. It's funny because her cat Thistle has allergies, and my mom always talks about the kitty boogers all over her house from her sneezing, and no lie, there were kitty boogers all over her house. So most of the stuff that I was cleaning off these cabinets was Thistle's allergies everywhere. I will say though, one thing I was thinking while cleaning this kitchen, like I love the idea of a big kitchen. Like you can hide everything, it's so spacious. But after cleaning this kitchen, I don't know if I ever want a big kitchen. This was so much work. Like I can deep clean my kitchen and get other stuff done in a day. And pretty much all I did on this day was this kitchen. Like there were so many cabinets to clean, and it takes a lot longer when you have a big kitchen. So I only ever want a kitchen big enough that like has the space that I need. Maybe a little bit bigger than the kitchen we have right now would be nice, but I don't ever want something massive. I actually have told Bobby on a regular basis, because the boys will ask like, oh, if we ever move, will we get a bigger house? And I'm like, I don't want to go much bigger. Like maybe a little bit bigger than what we currently have. But I told Bobby, I'm like, if we ever get enough money to buy like one of those big mansions on the river, you better be making enough money to also be hiring a housekeeper, because it is a full-time job keeping a house clean that's a regular size. But then you make it even bigger. Nope. I would need a house. I would need someone to clean my house for me, and I do this all the time. But yeah, cleaning my mom's kitchen definitely like gave me the realization that I never want a massive kitchen. I want just enough that it's comfortable and I can store all my stuff. Maybe a walk-in pantry would be great. But no, I don't want a massive kitchen, because this was a lot of work on this day. But their kitchen is beautiful. I absolutely love their flooring, their granite countertops. Actually, I think they're quartz. Their cabinets, everything is gorgeous about their kitchen. But man, I couldn't imagine taking care of 3 kids and keeping this kitchen clean all the time, because it would be a mess. You'll also notice while I'm cleaning, I'm working on their main living area. They definitely have other rooms in their house that I could have cleaned, but I also had limited time on these days. So I'm mainly focusing on like the areas that if guests were to come over, that's what they see. So the kitchen, the dining room, the living room and family room, front entry, stuff like that. I did not go into my parents' laundry room or my mom's office or their workout room, the guest bedroom, or their bedroom. I tried to just keep it to main living areas, things that I feel like make the biggest impact when someone does come over. Oh, also talking about things that I have given people. This is the Roborock Dyad. This is the other mop vacuum that I absolutely love, but once again, I don't need two. So I gave this one to my mom, which works great because it's always right here. So if I want to use it, if people are asking questions about it, it's right at my mom and dad's house, but it would make no sense for me to keep absolutely everything that I show you guys. So like I said, I normally keep the newest of the things that I get and then end up giving the other ones to friends and family and things like that. But Roborock Dyad, I absolutely love this thing. And once again, really nice to be able to go over there and Mom already had it. You're going to see on the next day that I mop throughout the house and Mom already had the spin mop. So I can pretty much keep my whole routine going over to her house and cleaning it without bringing any of my supplies.
I will go if nothing changes. So change your heart. Ooh, your mind is a ghost town, echoing inside your walls. 5 feet underground now. Nothing's gonna save us from our doubts. Nothing's gonna make us spell it out. I don't wanna be the one that said, oh, I told you so. But
Finally, once I was all done in the kitchen and Bobby was getting done, I just wanted to go into the family room and clean up around where he had made a huge mess. He was actually joking around with Freya, and she has a thing against mess. I don't know where she gets it from. Okay, probably me. But she was yelling at Bobby for making a mess on the floor. And then Bobby was going around and she's like, no, this is okay. Daddy makes messes, Mommy cleans up messes. And it was just joking, but it was so funny listening to her saying, Sassy Daddy, no, you mess, no. In her sweet little voice, it's adorable. I couldn't find my mom's vacuum. I don't know where she has it or if she even has one anymore. Mom, if you do, I don't know where you keep your vacuums. So I am using the traditional broom and dustpan. But then I did go in with the Roborock Dyad to mop it up and vacuum up all the smaller pieces as well. So at least she has this. But yeah, Mom, I have no idea where your vacuum is or if you even have a vacuum anymore. She may not since getting the robot vacuum.
I just wanna get you on my grid sometimes, on my grid sometimes. All my friends are saying that I waste my time, that I waste my time. I don't wanna tell you, don't know if you care. Repeating my mind, rolling around.
I will say, though, this made such a massive difference in their family room to get it off this TV stand and onto the wall. I also know Mom really wants to refinish this piece of furniture. A little bit later on, you're going to see their coffee table, and it has this really cool driftwood look to it. And she wants to do that same process on this. That way it both matches. And she's been not doing it because the TV has been on here. So now when she gets the time, she doesn't need to worry about moving the TV around or anything. everything's already done. All she has to do is take it outside and do her little project. I also know she said she wants to make a frame for the TV. Ever since I made one, she really likes the way it looks, so I'm sure that'll be happening sooner than later also.
Hoping you will figure it all out somehow, Why I'm acting weird whenever you're around, oh, when you're around. I don't wanna tell you, I know if you care. Repeating my mind, rolling around, stuck in your bed, burning to.
Alright, so it's day 3 of going over to Mom and Dad's. I don't have a ton of time today because I get back in town today, but since Bobby did the TV yesterday, which took a lot longer than expected, I want to go over there and really dust everything, especially in that family room, because I cleaned where he was working, but drywall dust got everywhere. So I am going to go over there now and see how much I can get done in probably about an hour, because I want to be in and out before they get.
I definitely wasn't like doing as deep of a cleaning on this day. Biggest thing was from Bobby working on that wall is there was a layer of drywall dust everywhere within that main living area. So I wanted to make sure it was dusted really well and mopped. I also knew with my parents getting home on this day, I wanted to mop this day because there is something about walking into a house and it being freshly mopped and getting that smell that is the best. So I knew my parents were having breakfast in Savannah and then coming home, and it's about a 3 to 4 hour drive from where we live to Savannah. So it was purely get in there, dust everything, and get out, because I did not want to be there when they showed up. I wanted them to be like completely surprised and just kind of catch everything as they came in. So luckily I did get that all done in time. This actually didn't take me nearly as long. I know I said about an hour. I think I was only here though for about 30 minutes, and that gave me time to dust everything, to mop. Like, it wasn't anything too crazy at all. I was probably here for an hour, but that's because when I first got here, I also made sure the birds were fed, the dog was fed, the cats were fed, let outside, all of that stuff. But when it came to actually cleaning, I think I only cleaned for about 30 minutes.
He's a vagabond, he won't love you better. I can watch you sinking down on the battleship. So come to 10, then again, Mississippi. You've been crying over him for a lifetime. So if you don't mind, we will dance till it's way past sleep.
Yes, my parents have a popcorn machine. I believe my mom got this a while back, originally for doing something with her coffee shop, and then obviously kept it. All the grandkids think it's the coolest thing, and whenever they're over there, my kids, my nieces and nephews, all of them, all the grandkids ask for popcorn at Grandma and Grandpa's house, because for some reason, popcorn out of this machine tastes better than it in the microwave. I also remembered to bring my mop socks to their house this day. I had forgotten the day before, and it was bugging me. I knew my mom had mop socks, but It's one thing to use her cloths. I don't know. It just felt weird using her mop socks. So on this date, I remembered to bring my mop socks because it does make it so much easier when you're walking around and not worrying about like leaving sweaty footprints where you just mopped. So that is what's on my feet, if you are ever wondering. I know a lot of people ask, and they're just a microfiber, like nubby sock thing, and they are the best things in the world. Also, I love this little pirate guy with the fireball. This is their like little bar setup area, but I love that guy. Like I said, my parents' whole house is very nautical theme. So you got the mermaids and sea turtles and everything like that throughout the entire house. And you can't forget the pirates every once in a while. This window is funny, was one of the first thing my mom noticed got cleaned. When they noticed other stuff too, but this is the cat tower that Thistle, the one with allergies, sits on all the time. This is her cat tower. The one in the family room is where Spooky sits most of the time. But my mom was like, you cleaned the glass. She's like, I know, because Thistle sneezes all over that all the time and gets it so dirty. So she noticed right away that this glass was clean. Plus, the kids, I specifically came on this day without the kids because they make a huge mess. So, like the coffee table, those fingerprints and everything were from all my kids. So I knew if I went this day by myself, I could get everything clean without having to work around my children.
Together, you, oh, you, I keep wishing and wishing and wishing.
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with a friend, all the things. I always really appreciate you guys doing that. It really helps out my channel. But I will see you next time. Bye!